Been nearly 1,500 years since the fall of the Roman Empire, and yet we continue to learn about this powerful and influential civilization through archaeological discoveries that are occurring throughout Europe. Places like Turkey, which recently discovered Roman coins dating back to the first Emperor Augustus, or even Pompeii, which was buried under a ton of ash from Mount Vesuvius, where they recently discovered a ceremonial chariot, and even as far north as England, where recent discoveries have been made, including that of a crucified individual. In this video, we're going to be focusing on the origins of Rome and specifically on its geography and how that helped shape early Roman civilization. So let's take a look at our map. So maps are useful tools in learning about civilizations because they can provide you some of the geographic information, and geography usually always has an influence on the development of civilizations, and Rome is going to be no different. And so what we want to do is take a look at some of those geographic features and see how they may have played an impact in the early development of Rome. Before we get into that lesson, however, let's go over some basic map skills. So when looking at a map, the first thing you want to do is locate the title of the map. This will let you know what part of the world the map represents. And here we can see, if you look on the top left, that this is a map of Europe. And you want to also look for the compass rose to let you know direction. So on the bottom left, we have the compass rose pointing north. Okay, so we have our direction. There's often going to be a key, which will provide some key details like what cities, counties, towns, railroads, roads, even rivers, how they'll be marked on the map. Now we don't have a key on this map, and that's okay because we don't need one for this particular lesson. Okay, so now we know that we're looking at a map of Europe, but how do we know what is land and what is water? Okay, so one of the things that will help you is if you can pick out rivers, okay, because rivers flow on land into larger bodies of water. Now there's no rivers on this particular map, so the next thing you want to try and look for are some features that stand out. So anytime you're looking at a map of Europe, one of the easiest features to pick out is Italy, and that's because Italy is shaped like a boot. And so if you look and locate the boot of Italy, you will have known that you have found Europe. And not only have you found Europe, but if you go to the south across the Mediterranean, you have found North Africa. If you go to the east, this is going to be Greece. All right. If you keep going to east, you'll get to Turkey and then the Mediterranean. All right. And if you go west, you can go to modern day Spain and Portugal, and then out to the Atlantic Ocean. And of course, north will take you up to the Scandinavian countries and up to the. Shortly before the start of the Persian Wars, west of Greece on the Italian peninsula existed one of the earliest examples of republican government. The Republic of Rome begins in 509 BCE and would last roughly 500 years until the rise of one of history's most infamous individuals, Julius Caesar, rose to power. However, before we can get into the development of the Roman Republic and its rise of the Roman Empire, we first need to travel back to the origins of Rome, around 753 BCE. Now, if you were able to build a time machine and travel back to interview Romans about the origin of their civilization, you'd probably hear a remarkable story of a war between two brothers for sole power, a virgin birth by the daughter of the vanquished brother, and in order to save her children, places them in a basket and floats them down a river for safety, where they're found and cared for by a wolf. Now, this is not the story of Moses or Jesus or even Rudyard Kipling's Mowgli, but of two brothers, the legendary founders of Rome. According to legend, Romulus and Remus are cared for by a wolf until they are discovered by a shepherd who adopts them. Romulus and Remus grow up in safety, and when they reach adulthood and having discovered who they are, overthrow their uncle and reestablish their grandfather to the throne. Now, rather than stay, the two brothers set out and search for a place to start their own city. They stumble upon an area of 7 hills where they will build their city. Unable to decide who will rule this new city, the brothers have a fight, and ultimately Romulus kills Remus and names the city after himself, called Rome. Now that makes for a fascinating story, and there are other legends, including in Virgil's Aeneid, that links Rome with the famous city of Troy, but those are just stories. To understand the origins of Rome, you have to examine its geography and how that contributed towards the development of what would become one of the largest, most powerful, and longest existing empires in human history. Italy is centrally located within the Mediterranean, and Rome is centrally located in Italy along the Tiber River, which was central towards the development of Rome because of access it provided for trading and the protection that it also provided. So let's take a closer look. So Rome is located on the Tiber River, about 20 miles in from the coast. The north of Italy are the Alps. All right, and these are a very steep mountain range, and it provided a lot of protection for the civilizations along the Italian peninsula. There are few mountains and less rugged terrain in Italy than in Greece, though the Apennines run kind of down the center of the country, but there is a lot of fertile land for civilization to flourish. And while we'll cover some of the earlier civilizations in a future video, I will point out the location of some that are important on the influence of Roman civilization. On the Italian peninsula, in addition to Rome, you've got other civilizations, including the Greeks. And the Greeks, if you remember, would create colonies around the Mediterranean. Greece is a very mountainous and rugged terrain, and so not a lot of arable land. And so they had to establish colonies in order not only to trade, but also to supply their city-states with enough food for their growing populations. So the Greeks usually inhabited areas along the coast, and in the Italian peninsula, this is no different. They would be in the southern coast and even along the coast of Sicily. Then you would have another very important civilization in the development of Rome, and that would be the Etruscans. The Etruscans would be located very north of Rome and kind of up towards the Alps. We'll see in a future video, they're going to have a tremendous influence on the Romans and kind of on their development and what they take from both the Greeks and the Etruscans to really build their civilization and become the dominant civilization on the Italian peninsula. So to review, Rome is located in the center of the Italian peninsula. The Italian peninsula is located in the middle of the Mediterranean. The Italian peninsula is protected from the north by the Alps. Rome is on the Tiber River, about 20 miles in from the sea. This provided them access for trading around the Mediterranean, but also they were far enough inland that it also provided protection. There are other groups on the Italian peninsula at this time that Rome is starting. They include the Etruscans in the north and Greek colonies in the south of Italy. I hope you found this video useful. Click on subscribe down below so you can have easy access to future videos.